A roasted bread.
Am I ready? Can I go? Shalom Kulam. I want to be real with you guys. This Sunday, I read the Parsha Pikudei. I was like, all right, this isn't like a super interesting Parsha. Typically it's a double Parsha. I was like, I can't really find anything. So I go to Rabbi Tal for some guidance. I'm like, could you maybe shed me a question that I should look into for this PTP? And he said, you should look into why it says Kasher Tzivah Hashem et Moshe 18 times. I'm like, it's pretty interesting. But instead of delving into what the Rebbeim say, I pondered my thoughts, and Hashem blessed me with an amazing idea. If you look at the gematria of 18, Yod Chet, Chai, life. Parsha's Pikudei is giving us an idea, a new look of life. What kind of outlook? One of Hishtavus. What's Hishtavus? I talk about it with a lot of people today. They're like, effort? Like, no. Oneness. That's what Hishtavus is. It's the idea that you're able to drop your ego. You're able to drop your selfish desire. This should be me. I should have this, like that, and that, and that, and that. Drop it. Because Hashem runs the world in a way that we'll never understand, right? And everything He does for us is for the good, right? So we should be simcha of that. I think there's a beautiful, beautiful parak in Tehillim that summarizes this idea beautifully. It says, cast upon Hashem your burden, and He will sustain you. He will never allow the faltering of the righteous, right? So, when you have faith in Hashem that everything is meant as it is, your fears alleviate and your tears evaporate, right? Because Hashem is looking out for you. He's doing only good. So why should you be upset when you get stuck in the traffic jam or this or that? Like, there's no point. You should be happy. Like, I could listen to this podcast now. I could do this. Call my cousin. Call my grandmother. Amazing. This month is also, I'm blessed. I could give this PTP on Rosh Chodesh Adar Bet, Mishem, 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 We're bringing Adar with joy. We're bringing with Simcha, Adar, right? But if you look deep into the root of Simcha, we find the word Macha, to erase. So it's like, where's this correlation? The idea of true joy comes from the ability to erase yourself, to be like, I'm not the center. That's Hashem. He runs it. We see it in Megillat Esther. Esther's like, oh my gosh, I don't want to go to Achashverosh. I'm going to be killed. I'm so selfish. She thinks she's the center of the world. And Mordechai's like, all right, like, Hashem will send someone else our way, and He's going to save us, right? So eventually, Esther, she mustered up the confidence. She realized, oh, I'm not the center. Hishtavus. I'm one with the world, and it's like there's a bigger picture that I'm playing. It's not just the now. It's not just how I'm feeling now, right? And she did it, and we know how the story concludes. Even tomorrow, it's gonna be it's gonna be Shabbos, and we're gonna have a beautiful meal. We're gonna say Shira Malos, right? As it says, Az Yamale Sachok Pino Leshonenu Rina, right? Our mouths filled with joy and our tongue with glad song. Why? Why is that? Like, why are we filled with simcha just saying Shira Malos? Like, all right, we do it once a week, cool. The idea is that Hashem, when Mashiach comes around the corner, B'ezrat Hashem, is that He's going to reveal to us all these He's going to reveal the bigger picture to us. He's going to be like, oh, remember that time you're going to go for that $1 million deal and you got stuck in traffic? Like, you're like, oh yeah, like, I remember that. He's like, oh, well, if you were actually ahead in that traffic jam, like, you would have been the top and you wouldn't in that crash. That's why there's the jam. I saved you from that, like, I saved you from dying and you didn't get $1 million, so what? And you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I was so caught up in my selfishness, I want this now and this now and this, that you forgot, that you'll feel so stupid. It's like, oh my gosh, Hashem saved my life. You're gonna be the simcha of that, right? So it's like, where are we with like all this like intricate details? What? Let's bring back to the Parsha. Kasher tzivah Hashem et Moshe, right? This was said whenever part of the Mishkan or Beit Kahuna was completed and finished, because it was good in Hashem's eyes, right? You may have these intricate pieces of like a pillar or a cloth or like whatever, and it's like, okay, this random piece together doesn't really make sense. It's just like tefillah, but no offense, Rav Kolossi. But altogether, it builds up to this crazy big picture of Kadosh, right? And we can even implement ourselves within that pasuk. Kasher tzivah Hashem et azifroga Moshe Amar. Everyone in this room, we could be the Moshe in that pasuk, because when we realize that Hashem is commanding us in our lives secretly without us knowing, that's where we truly find the simcha of life. It's like, oh, this happened because Hashem wanted to. Because He commanded us for that. He commanded for that to happen to us. And through that, we find true simcha. So I want to wish you guys an amazing Chodesh Tov, amazing Shabbos. And keep the idea of you're one with everyone, all together. and everything works in a certain way, and you may not realize it. But that's the best part about it all. La